It is big book summer. The summer where I'm going to try to read some big books, things that I've had on my shelf for a while that I really want to get to that I haven't gotten to. Fantasy books, science fiction books, and one Western book, which is supposed to be one of the best books of all time. We'll get to it when I get to the list. And I don't have these in a specific order. I don't have a certain ranking and setup of how I'm going to read these. But the goal is to get through a big chunk of these, and that's going to be kind of reading one of these a week. It's probably not going to happen. But these are kind of the ones that I'm looking forward to reading next and reading through my journey of finding bigger, better fantasy novels and science fiction novels and one Western novel. So we'll see how it goes. I don't have much faith in myself as far as actually finishing this list, but I just kind of wanted to give a rundown of what is on the horizon for me, what I'm reading, and what I plan to be getting through. So we'll start with what I'm currently on right now, The Black Prism by Brent Weeks, book one of the Lightbringer series. You can see where my dollar bill bookmark is there. I'm about halfway through it, a little bit less than halfway through it. It's been good. It's been entertaining, but I've just been really slow reading it. So this one will take me some time. Hopefully not that much time. I should just knock it out and get through it because there's four more books, I believe, in this series. And so I read the Night Angel trilogy by him, and I loved it. So I know that he can write a good, solid series with a good wrap up. So we'll get to it, and we'll keep reading it. But this is first on my list, the one I'm currently on. Next, we have not Empire of Silence, but instead Howling Dark by Christopher Ruocchio. I don't have the physical edition of Howling Dark with me, so this is what I'll be using just in its place. I've already read this one. I've got a review in the works coming out about this. I thought it was really fun, really great, a good intro to a new science fiction world, science fiction series, and I think Christopher Ruoccio's prose are incredible. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of the series on this one. So when I get my hands on book two, Howling Dark, I will for sure put this into the mix. But for right now, this is just going to be the placeholder to give you an idea that I'm reading this series. Next, we have Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Now, I've read this book. I read it when I was a teenager, a long time ago. At the time, I loved it. I thought it was the best book of all time. And I was young, and then I read book two when it came out, and I hated book two, which, maybe people who like book one also like book two or vice versa. But in my world, I loved book one and I hated book two. But it's been a long time. It's been over 10 years at least since I've read it. I need to get back to it and just give it another chance and give it another try and see what I think. We'll see. I'm not that excited to get back to it. It's not that high of a priority on my list. I've got other things that I'd rather read, but we'll see. I remember enjoying reading it. And so as much as I hated book two and as much as I'm kind of frustrated with how the series will probably never get finished, and it's hard for me to understand that, we'll see. We'll see if we get to it, if we read it, and what our thoughts are. This is the fourth book on my list. This is Larry McMurtry's Lonesome Dove. This is a chunky book. This is beefy. This is not science fiction or fantasy. As far as I know, this is good old Western. It's got a cowboy on the front. So obviously it's a Western, a little bit of a rope, some cows. Supposed to be one of the best books of all time. Very in-depth, honest characters, a good story. I don't know hardly anything about it. I haven't seen any of the visual film or TV adaptations. I'm not sure if there's TV adaptations. I'm pretty sure there's a movie about it, or at least one movie. But I've heard from a lot of people, and it just across the cultural zeitgeist, this is one of the best books of all time. So it's on the list. It's not science fiction and fantasy, but it's good to throw in a big chunker every once in a while that falls into a different genre. So I'd love to get to this summer. We'll see how things go. I've got other busy stuff, but I really want to read it. I've been searching for this one in used bookstores for a while, and eventually got my hands on it. So I'm looking forward to reading this one whenever we get to it. Next, we have Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. You can look at my review of Words of Radiance. I thought the book was a lot, and it was long, and it was kind of a slog at points to get through. Personal opinion, obviously. I thought the ending was fantastic, the Sanderlanche, quote unquote. But this is just a heaping chunk of a book. I mean, Larry McMurtry would wish to write a book this big. And obviously the series, the books continue to get bigger and bigger. So I've heard some people say this is their favorite of the whole series so far. 5 of 10 books are released. But so far, some people say this is their favorite one. We'll see. It's yet to be determined. This is, again, in the same vein as Name of the Wind for me. I'm a little fatigued on Brandon Sanderson. Not that I've read that much of him, but I just don't know that I love his style. And so I'm not going to be that excited in getting to this. It's not that high up on my list, but I should read it at some point just because of what it stands for in the science fiction fantasy culture. And Brandon Sanderson, you even if you're not really interested, you should read at least a few of his books, I think, and then you can make your judgment from there. So we'll see. Again, some people have said it's fantastic. It's the best of the series so far. So we'll make that judgment if we get to it. Next, we have Iron Gold. I really am looking forward to starting the next section of the Red Rising book series. I love the first 3 books, the first Red Rising trilogy, Red Rising, Golden Sun, Morning Star. Fantastic books. I keep Golden Sun up on the shelf there. I just think they're really, really good, really fun, very well paced. Pierce Brown just does a great job. So looking forward to getting the next section of it. I've got this. I've got the rest of them. So we'll get to this at some point, probably sooner than later. If I have to say comparing, the entire stack of books I have here and everything else that's on my shelf, and other books that I'll probably purchase and buy. So this is up there. We'll see. I'm the Sun Eater books are kind of in my brain right now, so I want to kind of get through those as I collect them. But I have this on my shelf, so maybe this will get moved up. But I'm looking forward to reading these and seeing where the story goes. Next, this is like 7 or whatever according to my list. This is The Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne. I read the first one. I've got a review of it talking about Vikings and in a book set in that kind of time, Scandinavian kind of time period. I loved the book 1. I thought it was a lot of fun. There's a lot of really good things about it. Very good read, very easy to read. It just did a lot of things very well. Good characters, good story. I loved the setting. The setting was just brilliant, making the mythical kind of ethos realistic in that world. It just worked really well, really well for me. So looking forward to book 2. Again, another brilliant cover. Just, giant wolf figure, tiny little people figures. We can put ourselves forward there. Tiny little guys, giant wolf. And this cover makes more sense based on reading book 1. So that's always exciting for me when the covers are kind of revealed as you read the story. So looking forward to getting to this. Book 2 of The Bloodsworn. And then we'll have to get book 3 at some point. But as for now, this is somewhere in the list. We'll see if we get to it this summer or this year. We'll see. Next, we have The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I have not read this book. I've read the first, 100 pages or so, some section of it. And it's maybe not as long as some of the other ones that I have on my list here. But this is like, Lord Grimdark, the start of, or, maybe not the start of, but, one of the founding members of the grimdark genre of fantasy fiction. Joe Abercrombie, The Blade Itself, The First Law. I didn't stop reading because I wasn't enjoying it. I stopped reading because I think either something big was happening in my life at the time, and I just didn't have the time to continue reading. And so reading took a back seat for whatever it was. And the book just fell by the wayside, and I forgot about it and moved on to other things. So not for lack of enjoyment, because I do remember thinking that the characters were good, which is one of the higher praises for Joe Abercrombie's writing, is the character work. We'll get to it. We'll get to it at some point. I have book 3 on the shelf here because I just found it at a bookstore for really cheap and it made sense to buy it. I'm probably more interested in reading this compared to some of the other things. I've seen some interviews with Joe Abercrombie on YouTube. He seems like a very cool guy, very funny, very sharp, and intelligent and understanding about his craft. So we'll get to this at some point, but I've got a lot of stuff to get to, and I keep saying that. But maybe this summer, we'll see. Book 1, the First Law trilogy, The Blade Itself. All right, last on my big book summer list, and again, big book summer is maybe a stretch. It's already it's already the second week of June. By the time I'm recording and editing and publishing this video, I'm not sure what we'll all get to. If I really hunker down and focus on these, we could make a big dent in them. But this is book 8 of my list. This is The Pariah by Anthony Ryan. I know literally nothing about this. The cover, I have the sense that it's maybe some sort of like Powder Mage type story, like it's, guns and magic. And maybe I've read the back cover. Maybe that's where I'm getting that idea from. I'm not sure, but it's still got the Barnes & Noble sticker on there. This was a gift for my wife. A couple of these were gifts for my wife. So shout out to my wife for the good book gifts. But it's a great cover. It's mysterious. It's a dark figure. He's got a sword. He's in shadow. There's some sort of cobbled stones, which give you the idea of, I don't know what that gives you the idea of. I'm just rambling at this point. But yeah, New York Times bestselling author. So we'll get to this. This one maybe moves up on the list as well. I don't know that it's actually 8th in order. As I said at the start, it's not necessarily in the order of how I'll get to them, but This one's kind of chunky. The print is actually relatively large, but I love the trade paperback size. It's just nice. It's just good to hold, as you're reading. So we'll see. Again, I don't know much about this one, but I kind of like going into a book blind every once in a while. It's kind of fun. So that is the 8 books, 9 books. It's 9. Do I not know how to count? It is 9. That is the 9 books that I have on my big book summer reading list. I got to get through Black Prism first, and then we'll get to some of the other ones, and then we'll just we'll see what we do, and I might buy more books, and those get moved into the list, and these will get bumped out. We'll see what happens, but I really want to read a lot this summer and just get through a big chunk of some of these books because I've got a big stack of a lot of things to read, and even smaller books. I've got smaller books as well that I need to get to. So try not to buy as many new books and try to read the books that I already have. That's my list. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these, if you are looking forward to reading any of these, if you haven't yet, and anything I should look out for as far as, hey, this book's great, hey, this book's terrible. Don't spoil anything, but let me know what your thoughts are and leave a comment, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.